What's up everybody, welcome back to AZ Trading. It's the 14th of July, the Thursday, and on the Wednesday we have a bearish RMR pattern that is formed. So above I've got this little template here of the bearish RMR where we look for a raid, a market structure shift, and then the return within a specific area where we participate and ride the short. So if we look at this price action that happened on Wednesday, feel free to pause the video, see if you can find where the RMR happened, and I'll outline it in just a moment. Okay, over here we have some relative equal highs. So once we reached that area, we call that the raid. I'll label that R for raid. After the raid, we look for the market structure shift. So as it was bullish, we look for a shift bearish, breaking previous lows. So it broke this low, it broke this low, it broke this low. So after it broke those lows, we call that the market structure shift. So I've labeled that over here. During that market structure shift, a lot of people will be FOMOing. They're going to see the strong bearish action. They're going to be placing shorts here, placing shorts here. Some unfortunate soul is going to be placing a short right there. And if they place their trade there, where would they even put their stop? Your position would have to tank such a large amount just for a small amount of reward. So after that market structure shift, we're not FOMOing here. We're waiting for the return. So in this case, we have a large gap presented over here. Of course, we don't want to participate at the bottom half of the gap because that's not a very good price. That's why we use some other techniques, such as we can look for order blocks. So this block over here, anywhere within that price we'd be happy to short. And we can also look at the top range of the gap, so the upper range of the gap. So this would be the upper side. And finally, we can use a fib at the top of the raid to the bottom of the shift, and we extend that out. Anywhere above this 50% level will be considered a premium in price, and we can also short within there. So if we find like a commonality between all three entry techniques, so somewhere within this area would be a fair price to short. Let's say you placed a short here as soon as that gap completely filled. We'd have our stop at the raid high and we'd have objectives below. So now let's take a look at the chart with my executions. Alright, so over here we can see where my entry took place as the gap completely filled. We've managed to get a pyramid of a position since a bearish gap formed over here. We've pyramided our price there, and now we're looking for objectives. Since it's a new day and our trade entry was on the previous day, we're just respecting the risk and the probabilities and just paying ourselves and letting our trade run. So in this case, we've moved our stop loss to the break-even level right there. Now our further objective will be timed with the S&P 500. So if we go into that, into a slightly higher time frame, we can see these relative equal lows over here on the S&P, whereas on the NASDAQ, they're not as clean. So when the S&P hits those equal lows right there, at that point in time, we'll be taking off our final partial in the NASDAQ. Okay, so let's just see how this trade pans out. Just an update on the trade, we've managed to reach these relative equal lows here. Resting below is sell side liquidity, so we've taken off our second partial there. And for our final partial, as we've outlined before, when the S&P reaches those equal lows, which it's very close to doing so, we'll be taking off our final position on the NAS. So we've just managed to reach those equal lows on the S&P, which means we'll be closing off our final partial on the NASDAQ trade. So over here, our final partial, we'll be closing that position. Of course, another idea, instead of closing your entire position, you could leave another partial and aim for this equal low here. You can aim for different lows. However, for me, since I've already outlined this trade and where my objectives are, that's what I intend on following. So since we all have different trading plans and different rules, the main message here is to learn to honor and follow the specific set of rules you make for yourself. So overall, you can have a look at my trading history over here, all my limits and all my market orders, and the trading history here for these three trades. And in this trade, we managed to capture around, let's see, 200 points, which is by no means a small movement. Alright, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It's the most generic thing to say, but it really does help out and I'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And as always, take care. Peace.